Supreme Court also had a pretty active week last week, the 10th through the 16th of November, including one ruling on same-sex marriage, which was pretty consequential. You might remember the name Kim Davis. This was the Kentucky County clerk who was refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples on the basis that it violated her religious beliefs. Ultimately, she lost that case, and in a now precedential landmark case, Obergefell versus Hodges, same-sex couples were guaranteed the right to marry legally. As a consequence of that suit, a lower court ordered Kim Davis to pay damages and attorney's fees for the gay couple who had been denied their marriage license. And the case that just came to the Supreme Court was her appeal of that decision. But what the Supreme Court did is rejected the appeal without hearing any oral arguments, meaning the lower court order requiring her to pay damages stands, and effectively signaling that there's really no appetite at the Supreme Court level right now to revisit the decision on same-sex marriage or to overturn that precedent that was set by that previous case. The Supreme Court also heard oral arguments in a case called Lander versus Louisiana Department of Corrections. In this case, an individual, a prison guard in Louisiana, forced a Rastafarian man to shave his head, which violated his religious beliefs. And that case centers around whether that individual person, that prison guard, can be held liable for violating that person's rights, or whether the state's immunity principles for incarceration apply in this case, and that they have to stop the practice, but no damages or restitution is due to the victim. The Supreme Court also heard arguments in the case Fernandez versus the United States and Rutherford versus the United States. These consolidated cases relate to the Armed Career Criminal Act, or ACCA, which imposes a mandatory minimum sentence for certain federal firearm offenses if the defendant has 3 prior convictions for a violent felony, after a series of Supreme Court rulings in recent years which have sort of narrowed that definition.